What's good, YouTube? It's Justice. I used to be Pay, and today I'm back with another video. And real quick, before I get into the video, make sure you leave a like, leave a subscribe. It doesn't hurt you, doesn't cost you any extra money or any extra effort, and it helps me out a ton. But today in this video, I'm going to be talking about how bundles could actually save rap and how them coming back could be a good sign. Now, if you've been out of the loop for a while and you don't really know what a music bundle is, I'll just break it down real quick. Basically, it's when an artist puts together a piece of merchandise and their album and bundles it together into one package and basically sells you like a t-shirt, but with the t-shirt comes a free copy of the album, and that counts as an album sale. So it was a thing that artists used to do back in the day, like a lot. Like people would bundle together literally anything you can think of. T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all types of clothing items. They would put together like tickets in albums. They put together, meet and greet opportunities. They do keychains. They could do literally anything. They would try anything under the sun that would help them boost their sales. I believe DJ Khaled even did like an energy drink or something like that, trying to do that to boost his sales. Like artists were just going crazy with the bundles back in the day. And it led to a lot of controversy. A lot of artists were complaining like, oh, this person didn't really outsell me. They just outbundled me. They have, merchandise that people are buying and nobody's really buying their album. It was a really big thing with Nicki Minaj and Travis Scott back in like 2018. I believe Astroworld and Nicki Minaj's album Queen were like battling for the #1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 or on the Billboard 200. I believe that's the album list. And Nicki was slightly losing to Travis's album, and she was going off because a lot of Travis's sales back at that time were because of bundles, and that's just the truth. He had a lot of merchandise that people loved to buy, and so.
But what we not gonna do is have this auto-tune man coming up here selling fucking sweaters and telling y'all he sold 500,000 fucking albums, because he didn't.
Nicki was really mad about that and complaining about it, saying it was unfair, and then other artists had started to complain about it over in that time period as well, and it just became like a really big hassle on everyone's hands. And so eventually Billboard was just like, all right, we're just going to cut it. No more bundles. In 2020, they just said no more bundles. It doesn't count towards your sales. It's just physical copies, digital copies, or streams, and everything else is just not a part of the equation. But recently, as of June 30th, 2023, they have brought these bundles back. And I honestly think this may have been perfect timing for the rap game, because the rap game really needs it right now. Rap albums are suffering. They are suffering as of recently, especially mainstream rap albums. They're suffering. And it's really been happening over the past like couple of years, especially really over the last like 6 months to a year. And the major problem with these rap albums, at least in my opinion, is that they're overinflated. And if you know anything about me, I've talked about this before. I've made videos on this before. These albums are just really, really long. And a majority of the time, they're just that long because the artist is trying to get as many streams as possible, because nobody is going out and buying albums anymore. That just doesn't happen. Nobody's going on Friday when the albums come out, going to Walmart and buying them. Nobody's going on iTunes and buying them. Everyone is streaming. Everything is streamed. Nobody's really buying things anymore. So what do you do to try to get more streams? You put as many songs as you can on an album. So if your album is really like 15 or 14 songs, you end up putting like 25 to 30 songs on there. You put like an extra 10 to 12 songs. And because of that, it's diluted the quality of a lot of these albums. So we've been getting some really mid projects or some bad projects as a result of this, as a result of artists trying to figure out a way to make more money while streaming is still a thing. But with bundles coming back, artists now have another option of selling their albums. They have another option of boosting their sales instead of just inflating their albums as much as they can. Because think about it now, right? You're trying to put as many songs on an album as you can to get as many streams, but let's just say you make 2 to 3 solid pieces of merchandise and bundle that together with an album, and now you advertise that a little bit more. You could probably make a couple thousand sales just off that, maybe 10,000 sales, depending on how big of an artist you are, instead of having to throw on another 10 songs. Now we could start replacing these extra songs, these filler songs, with these little bundle deals. And that could, in return, make these albums a little bit shorter and make them that much better, because a lot of the reason that these albums aren't doing so hot is because of how long they are. And so if we have the bundles there, you don't have to make your album super long anymore. You can just rely on, hey, I'm going to get like 10 to 20,000 extra sales from these bundles, because nobody wants to be the guy that when they drop their album, they're selling 10K, they're selling 11K, and everyone's making jokes. Oh, you went double copper, you went, double plastic wrap. Like, nobody wants to be that guy. Nobody wants to be the guy that went triple paper plate. So they're boosting their sales however they can, whether that's extra songs or putting a whole bunch of features on their albums. Like, people are just doing whatever they can at this moment. So if they can shift a little bit more of that focus towards the bundle deals and maybe a really cool t-shirt to go with their album, maybe that can replace the extra songs on these albums and save us from the extra 20 minutes of just boring and filler music. Like, think about it with somebody like Lil Baby. You're telling me Lil Baby can't make like a pretty cool graphic tee to go with his album and bundle that together and sell it to the masses? I'm sure people would want to buy that. Think of somebody like NBA Youngboy. Imagine if NBA Youngboy put out, again, like a basic graphic tee with maybe just like the album cover on the t-shirt or on the hoodie and bundle that together with an album. People would buy that. People would. They would go out and buy that stuff. So then they wouldn't have to put an extra 8 songs on their projects. It could really be a solution that saves a lot of these mainstream rappers. Now, obviously, the smaller rappers aren't going to be able to do this to the same extent as like a really, really big rapper because they don't have a major label behind them with a whole bunch of money that can put money into merchandise and making it and shipping it. Like, I get that. But for the bigger artists like the Lil Durks, the Lil Babies, the NBA Youngboys, like, you guys can make a decent looking piece of merchandise to go with your album. 2 to 3 decent looking pieces of merchandise to go with your albums. I think that's pretty possible. I don't think it's too far out there for me to say, because that would help y'all out a lot. And it would also help your album quality because you can just focus on making your album as good as it possibly can be. You don't have to focus on, hold on, I'm trying to make this album good, but I'm also trying to make money off of it. That can leave your mind. You can just solely focus on, I'm going to make this album as good as it needs to be. And then we can add some bundles in there and hopefully boost the sales a little bit, but we don't have to do the extra 12 songs. That could be a thing. And I think the major problem with this, at least in my mind, would be like a lot of these artists have some pretty bad merch. Like, it's pretty much similar to like YouTube merch, like how you don't really see people outside wearing YouTubers merch aside from like a few. That's probably like the biggest issue with these, merchandise bundles. But they can lock in. They can get somebody to make a solid t-shirt. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It doesn't have to be like Travis Scott where it's a super nice t-shirt and people would honestly buy the stuff even if it wasn't Travis Scott's. Like, they can just make a generic t-shirt, slap their face on it, a graphic tee with the album cover, and boost their sales. So I really think artists should really take advantage of these bundles coming back. This should be something that everyone is in their boardroom like, all right, guys, we're going to make the album, but let's lock in real quick on these bundles. How can we do this? How can we boost our sales without having to do the whole clown stuff of adding 14 extra songs and, being like DDG and adding 3 versions of the same song on an album? Like, how can we make more money off these bundles and just leave the project to what it's supposed to be? The original project is just supposed to be about the quality. That's the creation. That's supposed to be left alone. That's not supposed to, it is for monetary purposes because obviously you're trying to make money off it, but that's supposed to be your creative passion flowing, and that's not really supposed to be affected by the money too much. The bundles is where we can start thinking about the money. We shouldn't have to be mixing in thinking about the money and wait, I like this project how it is now, but we got to make extra money. So no, just worry about it being good and put some money into the bundles, and maybe you can boost your sales with that. I really think this could be something that helps a lot of artists, and it could save a lot of the fans from having to listen to these super boring albums. And it could be like somewhere where we meet in the middle where it's like, yeah, bundles are kind of, in terms of like them affecting sales, it's hit or miss, but I'll take it if it makes the albums better. I will gladly take it. So, maybe I'm just rambling, maybe I'm just talking about nothing, but I really think this could be something that helps rap a lot because these albums are suffering. And if we can find any possible way to make them shorter, I'm down for it, especially if it also helps the artists with their sales and make more money because, obviously they want to make money, feed their family and stuff. So the bundles can do that. The bundles can be the best of both worlds. So maybe we'll see that more in the future. I hope so. But also, if you see anyone make this take, just know I said it first. I have not seen anyone else say this. And yes, I am putting my claim on this take. So if you see anyone say it, just know, say, hey, Justice, or say, hey, Pay said this first. Because I haven't seen anyone else say this. But that's going to be the end of my video. I just want to make this video real quick and say that because I think this could be something that really changes the game for the better. It really could. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I just need to stop making videos. Whatever, leave a nice comment, leave a mean comment, whatever you got to do in the comment section. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. But thank you so much. Have a great day. Peace.